Hello everyone, today I'm reviewing the biggest Lego set I have. This set is a Daily Bugle. It has 3,772 pieces. It is rated 18 and up and is set number 76178. This set has 25 minifigures and it's one massive build. Let's get into the review. But as usual, before we do that, let's look at the side of the box. So you can see there's some really cool printing. And here's the back of the box. So you can see some of the building. Well, you can see some of it, and yeah. And here's the dimensions of it. So it's 32 inches tall, or 82 centimeters, sorry. And that's for height, and the width is 25 centimeters and 9.8 inches, or 9.8 inches for width. Yeah, sorry. But now let's get into the review. Okay. Here is the Daily Bugle, and this set is very tall. It goes way past my little studio I have here. It has 25 minifigures, it has a taxi, and it has the building. Let's review the minifigures. Up, we have the 10 civilians of this set, and this one is called Robbie Robertson, and you can use him as one of the employees of the Daily Bugle. You could use him as a cab driver. You cannot use him as a cab driver because there's actually a figure named someone the cab driver. But yeah, this is just one of the civilian figures, and yeah, it's pretty simple and it looks pretty good. Let's go on to the next figure. For the next figure, we have the actual cab driver, and his name is Barney, the cab driver, and he has a hood and a hat. Nothing too crazy. The printing isn't too crazy on these figures. Just pretty minimal and pretty good printing overall on these. They look good, I'd say. So nothing too crazy on this figure. One last thing on the last figure though I've missed is he does have a secondary face because it borrows a minifigure head. Sorry about the dogs barking in the background. Figure up, we have Amber Grant, and another, again, very simple printing. She has a bag on her back, and it uses the MJ face from one of the Spider-Man sets for one of the Spider-Man movies. And yeah, that's this figure. Let's go on to the next. We have Barney. Yeah, that's right. And again, very simple printing on each side, and he has a double face, which looks pretty good. And yeah, let's go on to the next figure. For the next one, we have Jonah Jameson. And this figure is really good looking. And he has a special head print, which is him with webs all over his face, it's a really good print. And he has a pen in his hand. And yeah, I think Jonah Jameson looks really good. Let's go on to the next figure. Up is Betty Brandt, and this Betty Brandt is very simple printing, very simplistic, and does have a secondary face. This head print has been used for Sharon Carter in the MCU, and yeah, it looks very cool. Let's go on to Aunt May. Up is Aunt May, and Aunt May has a bun with gray hair, and it's the older Aunt May. She came with a batch of cookies, which I have misplaced. She has a screaming expression, and she has a normal expression as well. Let's go on to the next one. This is Erich, and he is seen in the new Venom movie. And he has some very good printing too, very simplistic, and nothing too special on these figures. Let's go on to the next figure. Next figure up is Gwen Stacy, and Gwen Stacy uses Ray's face, which I do not really like that they have her use that face. And here's her second face print. And as usual, a very simplistic figure. Let's go on to Peter Parker. Next up is Peter Parker, and Peter Parker is a very simplistic printing as well. He has a handbag, and he also has a secondary face with a more screaming expression. Let's go on to the superheroes of the set. Next up is Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, and this is Gwen Stacy's Spider-Woman. And she looks pretty good. She doesn't have any alternate head prints. And yeah, it's pretty simplistic. Let's go on to Miles Morales Spider-Man. Let's put him right here. And this one again is somewhat simplistic. It comes in a $10 set, so it's pretty simple. You can take off his hood to see all of his mask, which looks pretty good. And he has his jacket and sweats on. Let's go on to the next figure. Next up we have Spider-Ham, and Spider-Ham has a little web piece, and he has some logos. So it's this spider pig on the back of his Spider-Man outfit, and he has a little Spider-Man face on his snout. And yeah, that's it for Spider-Ham. Let's go to the next one. Next up is Spider-Man himself, and he has been in many sets. The new part about him in this set is the dual mold legs with the blue on top and the red boots. That's pretty much it for Spider-Man. Very simplistic figure, and not necessarily a highlighted set, but a good figure. And next we have 4 exclusive figures to the set. The first one up is Firestar, and this minifigure does have a second face print, and I think it looks pretty well. All the printing and stuff, and she will come back later in the set, and I'll show you that when it comes up. Next up we have Blade, and this Blade minifigure looks really good and has a lot of good printing. You can take off his katanas on his back to show back printing, and you could also take off the knives to show his back, which is there. And you can place the knives in his hand, which I will not do because I do not need to do that. Let's go to the next figure. Next up is the Punisher, and this minifigure has some very good printing. He has a really cool face print and a custom gun with another little pistol, and he has his logo on his shirt with dual molded legs, and he does have a secondary face print, and that's it there. Let's go to my favorite figure in the set. My favorite figure of the set, and it's Daredevil, and this Daredevil is from the comics instead of the TV series, which I would have much preferred the TV series, but this is much more based off the comic book with Daredevil in it. And he looks really good. He has a lot of good, very simplistic printing. And this figure and the previous 3 figures that I've shown you have all gone for more than $25 on eBay, but I'm going to choose to not sell mine because I really enjoy these figures. We have the villains, and the first villain up is Mysterio. And this Mysterio is very plain, nothing too new that we've seen in any Mysterios. It's just a shame that we haven't gotten the pieces that make him look like he's flying with the green smoke cloud effects. As I'll show you later in the review, which it does not come in the set, but I would have really liked that it would have. Yeah, that's about it for Mysterio. Let's go on to the next one. Next up is another exclusive figure in the set, and it's Black Cat. And this minifigure is, again, pretty simplistic. Nothing too crazy on her. And she has some good face printing. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Black Cat. Nothing too crazy there. Let's go on to the next figure. Next up we have Venom, and Venom comes with his many tendrils and many arms that he has. This minifigure is a really good minifigure and is fairly simplistic again. Nothing new that we've seen before. And let's go into Carnage. Is mostly the same and has some much more detailed printing than Venom. And he has he's red instead of black, obviously. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Carnage. Nothing too crazy about him. Let's go on to the next one. Next up is Green Goblin, and this Green Goblin is a very good representation of the Green Goblin from the comic books. However, this is not a good representation of the Green Goblin from the MCU now and the old Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. But it still looks very good and is very detailed still. Let's go on to the next one. Next up we have Doc Ock, and this Doc Ock minifigure has 4 robotic arms, which I took off, but I will show you that later in the review. And besides that, it's, again, fairly simplistic, and you can see his back face print and his spot where the arms connect to him. So yeah, we have one more figure left, and let's review that. Next figure of the set is Sandman, and Sandman has some very good printing, and he's this really good looking mold. And he does not have a second face because he is using the angry clone head. And he does not come with any legs, so you can't make him stand, which is a little annoying, but he does have the molded piece, which makes up for it, I believe. Alright, now let's take a look at the set. Let's look at these 4 builds that are outside of the set. Look at the taxi. And the taxi can open up like so, and you can place the cab driver, into the cab. And you can just place him in like this. And of course you can place a passenger, so we will just place Spider-Man in as a passenger. Just like so. And then you can close it all up. And there you go. So there is the taxi, and you can actually have a passenger in it, which is pretty cool. And it will fit on the road plates, and here's a couple small details. You can see the exhaust with the revolver, and you can see the license plates, which is AFA0015. Don't know if it means anything or anything like that, you know. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the taxi build. Now, let's go on to Sandman. Here's the Sandman build, and you can take the Sandman figure. Sorry, let me place it on this piece. And this is many different parts to it. For the Sandman build, and yeah, it's supposed to be it coming out of the concrete. So for the Daily Bugle, there's a little stud, and you just place it right on top of that, and you place the Sandman like right about there on the Daily Bugle. So let's look at the last 2 little builds. Next up, we have Doc Ock's arms, and each little piece can move, and it's a very movable arms, and you can twist them to make it like the arms taller than he is and shorter. So here's what it looks like with the arms much taller than he is, and all it is moving this joint, the first joint, up and down like that. And yeah, let's go into the last little bit. Last up for the minifigure section is the Green Goblin glider. And this glider has flames coming out of it, and it's fairly small, and it comes up later in the Daily Bugle build. So yeah, let's get on to the review of the building itself. And make sure to look out soon for part 2 of this review.